So today I wanted to go over this really sad video and discuss the reality of marriage to young women, especially women who are just coming out of high school and things like that. This video is a warning to not rush into things and realize that if you're getting married before your brain is fully developed, which a female's brain uh, starts becoming fully developed around 25, but yet you still have a lot to learn after that. This video is a testament to why you should not be egged on by these men who are rushing us to get married to them at such a young age. When you're young, you are a blank slate, and it's like that song where men want to write on your blank page. You are 16, going on 17. You know, if you listen to the lyrics to that song, it's about a woman coming of age and a warning to her about how men are going to want to write on her blank slate, and that she needs to be very careful with who she devotes her life to, because 25 years could go like that, and you can end up like this woman that we're going to show you today, who unfortunately dealt with some horrible things. And this is why I tell, I stick to my guns when I say, we shouldn't be putting men on a pedestal, because in the reality is that the world is the way it is because women wanted freedom. And women wanted freedom not because men were consistently so amazing to us, but because they weren't providing the life and lifestyle that we wanted. And while, yeah, a lot of girls want to be like, oh, I want to be stay-at-home moms now, and we're having this whole stay-at-home mom issue and blah, 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 blah. The reality is that femininity and all these things that, make being a woman great is a luxury and can only be afforded if you actually have somebody that is truly taking care of you and truly loves you. This is a short clip. I found it on Sheila Truelove's YouTube. If you want to send her some love or support her channel, definitely do. She always puts up videos and clips that you probably wouldn't find otherwise. So, some of her videos are actually, they are quite life-changing and telling, and help me, in my decisions about how I go about life. I've been celibate for over 2 years now. I don't regret it at all. It's actually been the best thing I've ever done. I don't want to get involved with someone who's just going to come into my life and siphon or succubus my energy away and not care about me and look at me like that. So saving yourself for marriage and knowing who you're marrying is definitely a good start. But at the end of the day, if you don't have your own as a woman, you can become very vulnerable. And it's very important that women take heed of this message that I'm about to show you.
Different times. And I think it's important. I know this isn't the normal TikTok dancing and being cute, but I think this is an important message for young women to hear. I was married at age 20 in 1995. Shortly after we got married, we had only known each other for 10 dates when we got married. And shortly after we got married, I was filling out applications to go back to college. And he said, oh, hell no, I'm not supporting a wife in college. We're just going to have kids and you're going to be a stay-at-home mom anyway. So
he said, he said, hell no, I'm not supporting a woman going to college. You're just going to be a stay-at-home mom anyways. Which can be a dream come true in some cases. But in this case, it was purely for the point of he wanted to keep her isolated and uneducated. And too many men want to keep women uneducated. This is one of the biggest things that we've been dealing with in history. Keep the women uneducated. The minute you educate a woman, things just go downhill. But why is that? Why why can't a woman not be equally intelligent to a man? What is it about a woman being educated that is such a turnoff to men? Why do men prefer stupid women or ignorant women or naive women? You know? And, again, I'm not saying this is for all dudes. We don't use universal quantifiers here. There is a bell curve of different lifestyles, okay? But it is a kind of a stigma that, men would prefer a woman who isn't educated and who's fully dependent on them and fully needs them. But what happens when he uses that against you?
Bought a business instead, and after my first son was born, I quit working and never had income again, even though I ran our family businesses off and on in varying capacities. I was completely financially dependent on a man who were wedding on. 24 years later, I had the job experience of the average high school kid and the credit of the average high school kid and the expenses of a 44-year-old woman who had sole custody of her children. Grown-up expenses with minimum wage earning capacity. The first time I sat down with a divorce attorney was 2015. It is July of 2022, and I'm getting served with papers once again for custody and to eliminate all child support moving forward. Escaping domestic violence for me and my children, and homelessness for 3 months. It meant losing vehicles. It meant eating green beans and macaroni cheese and fluffy white bread out of Catholic food pantries. It has meant having cavities in kids' teeth and not having the financial means to get them proper dental care. It has meant having medical problems of my own and not being able to pay for the specialists. From 2015 to 2022, I have been in court perpetually. Instead of focusing on raising my children, moving forward in life, instead of spending my money educating myself, paying for marketing for my business, I'm paying for attorneys. Because a divorce decree is not a strong enough boundary for a hateful human being who lives to see you destroyed and thought that you were just a piece of meat even when he was in love with you. Okay, I've pushed record on this video like 5 different times, and I think it's important. I know this isn't the normal TikTok dancing and being cute, but I think this is an important message for young women to hear. I was married at age 20 and 19.
So, getting married at 20, it might sound like a cute fairy tale, and you're so beautiful and wonderful. But what happens when you're not beautiful anymore? What happens when you've dated or you've married somebody who neglected you, neglected the family, neglected your health needs, your body and everything, and actually aimed to see you destroyed in some aspect? There's a lot of men who don't take responsibility, are not true leaders, and actually prefer control and power over a woman rather than to see her flourish, thrive, and become successful as well and become more of an asset. Instead, they, want to play these games, go to court, do all this. Now he's trying to take her, try to get rid of her child support because he doesn't want to, deal with that. So he's trying to take the kids from her, even though he probably doesn't even want to take care of them. He just doesn't want to pay her. And so this is what you could end up in if you're not, you don't have your shit together, if you haven't, have something of your own. And, while it may be like, oh, you should settle down and be with a guy, but it's like, yeah, but what happens when you're 40, 50 years old in an abusive relationship, you're unhappy and you have no ability to leave, no ability to do anything with your life because you're run down, you're tired, you're exhausted from all the abuse. I mean, this woman was probably freaking gorgeous when she was 20. Like, look at her. She's beautiful now. But look what a man did to her. She clearly wasn't being taken care of. And a lot of the time, society blames a woman, looks at a single mom like, oh, you're a piece of shit, instead of saying, oh, the guy's a piece of shit for not taking responsibility for what he decided to do. Having a child is not a joke. For men, it's a joke. For men, it's simple. But for a woman, that could mean your life. That could mean your life. It means your body's completely changing. You need to be very careful with who you allow to impregnate you and things like that. Like that, and that's why you should be celibate. You should be sure, because these men are literally playing games with our lives. And again, I'm going to say it again. It's not all men. It's not all men. There are some good ones out there, I'll admit, but they're very far and few between. My mother, she never, all of her marriages failed, destitute. We don't get along. We're pretty much estranged. I'm estranged from my whole family, pretty much. My grandmother, the same thing. Thought getting married and doing the right thing and, taking care of a man and cooking for him every day, keeping his house clean, doing all his shit and his laundry was going to, keep him indebted to her. But really, they don't care. It's not, marriage, it means something different to a lot of guys. And you need to be careful, because some people, saw a lot of men go into this apathetically, not very lovingly, and you are the one that gets screwed. Women get screwed. Women get the brunt of the screw, and then men want to say, oh, divorce is so horrible and blah, 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 blah. But it's like, yeah, but if you put a baby in this woman and things like that, you literally changed her. And you still have the capability to go out and find a young woman and things like that. You know how much harder it is for her to be on the market now because people devalue single mothers? But no one devalues single fathers, because fathers most of the time are not responsible for their children. And that's really frustrating, because we live in a double standard, and knowing that as a woman, that we live in a double standard world, we have to make sure that we are cautious of who we are with, cautious of who we give our time and energy to, cautious with who we're intimate with, because this could be anybody. This could be anybody's mom. My father was not there for me. My father, he never did shit for me. Okay, he actually literally worked under the table my entire life so he could avoid paying child support. And this is what men do. This is what a lot of men do, actually, okay? There's not a lot of stand-up guys. There's not a lot of honorable, honest leaders out there. And so it makes more sense to work on sustaining yourself and creating stability in your life before you worry about a guy doing it for you. Because if he's going to treat you bad, then you have the ability to just say, okay, peace out, see you later. Unfortunately, her not being educated was also a contributing factor to her being so easily abused. And that's why, it's not a bad idea to be educated. A lot of men, the men that do not want educated women are probably the same kind of men who need their ego stroked just to live, just to survive. They need women telling them how great they are, because they have such low self-esteem that they need to be completely pumped up all the time. These are the same men who are afraid of aging themselves and are on HRT and hormone replacement therapy, and if they didn't have testosterone shots, they would look a holy hell mess and probably be dead. So don't let these men talk you into destroying your life. Okay, I worked in a hormone clinic, and I promise you, a lot of these old men that are trying to date young women, okay, it's all fake. It's all hormones. And that's another thing. When you get intimate with a guy, you're not just fighting against cognitive dissonance. You're fighting against hormones and pheromones and things that are so much more difficult to get rid of and to deal with. So don't put yourself in that place in the first place. It's great that this woman was able to speak out and give us a warning. And I just wanted to share her story, because too many women have to go through this. Too many. And I'm just getting tired of it. I'm getting tired of the double standards. I'm getting tired of men saying, oh, well, no one likes an educated woman. No one likes a boss woman. But it's like, so what do you want me to do? Just sit at home and wait? Cinderella stories don't really happen every day. Reality is that most people get screwed and die and destitute if they don't do anything with their lives. So, I'm not really, in this whole little game where we're playing like, oh, well, your eggs are about to shrivel up if you don't get married by, fucking 25 or whatever. I don't really care. I don't really care. I'm going to worry about myself. I'm going to worry about the things that are important to me. And I'm not going to be getting involved with men because I don't think most men deserve a lineage. They don't. Most men are not deserving of a lineage because they're not leaders. They're not standing up for women. They're not protecting us, that's for sure. I mean, aren't they supposed to be providers and protectors? They're not doing any of that. So how can we put our life and our faith in people who aren't leading or protecting us and instead gaslighting us, invalidating us, and literally just turning us into just trying to trash us at the end of it. This woman worked on businesses and things like that for the family, and what is she getting for it? What is the contribution she's getting for it? She's getting a dude that's trying to tear her limb from limb and make sure that she's a broken mess at the end of this. And it's sick. It's sick that men would fight a woman and try to bring her down. It's like, fight somebody your own size. She's over here loving and emotional and naive, and you, a man, are taking advantage of it. And that's why I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of these men's games. I saw my father do it. My brother's the same way. My brother's I'm just, there's really nothing for me with just drama and and sexual pleasure. Who needs it? I don't really care. I don't really care. Men are paying for prostitution anyway, so what do I need to bother with it? I think it's very important that women learn who they are, grow in who they are, before they jump the gun and get married and then get stuck, and then 25 years later they wake up and realize, wow, I made a huge mistake and my life is nearly halfway over. Don't do it, girls. Don't do it. Don't fall for the tricks. Get your money. Get your stuff in order. Get yourself properties. Make sure that you can take care of yourself before you allow a man. Because imagine you have property and things like that, and then a man who's more successful than you comes along, then you guys will have even more success together. And that's the thing. We have to stop looking for people who want to lower our standard. If he's trying to lower your standard, and make you feel bad for wanting more for yourself because he can't provide that for you, then maybe you're not aligned. Maybe that's not the right dude for you. So yeah, I just wanted to put this message out because it's very important. Very important, and I feel terrible for this woman. So yeah, that's the end.